not to eat. It's not to eat, little lady. Ow.
Hey guys! Welcome to episode 4 of the Miss Strawberry Makes podcast. Okay, I have my stuff written down this time so that I don't forget to say who I am, which I've forgotten like the past couple times. I'm Michelle, also known as Miss Strawberry Short Girl on Instagram, and this is the Miss Strawberry Makes podcast. And like I said, episode 4. Woohoo! So exciting. So, I was supposed to have Mima with me today for Knit and Natter with Mima, but she just wasn't up to it today. So, you're stuck with just me. Sorry. But, it is surprisingly warm out today. I think it's close to 70, but it looks like winter outside. Just looking out my window, it looks very dreary and colorless and kind of foreboding. I think the temp is supposed to drop, so we'll probably get some kind of crazy weather here. But I've got a bit of a headache, and I think it's from the weather. So hopefully I'm not scowling at you guys. But, yeah. So anyway, like I said, Michelle, Miss Strawberry Short Girl, also on Ravelry as Miss Michelle Bell. And you can also find me on my blog, the Strawberry Cottage Journal, where the show notes for this podcast will be. Okay, so, well, thanks guys for tuning back in. If you've tuned in before, and if this is your first time, welcome. Hey, so excited to have you. And just recently I just made it up to 50 subscribers. I was like blown away, guys. Thank you so much. You're just making this so much fun. It's just so nice to have, you know, virtual friends to share my makes with. And, sorry, I keep clicking my pen. Yeah, just thanks, guys. This is so exciting, so much fun, so enjoying this. My mom said after watching my podcast, man, I think that's the most I've ever heard you talk at once, because if you knew me in real life, I don't really talk very much at one time, but I said, well, you'd be bored if I were talking about gauge and, you know, weights of yarn and things all the time, so I'm thankful to have this outlet to share it with you guys who also like this kind of stuff, and if you get bored, you can just, you know, X off of it and move on to something else. It's, you know, not as hurtful as when people's eyes glaze over when you're actually speaking to them in real life, so, but, I digress. So, just thanks, guys, for subscribing and everything, and I was thinking it'd be fun to do a giveaway at some point soon. That's a very podcasty thing to do, is have fun, yarny goodness giveaways, so I think I'm probably going to do one of those pretty soon. Not sure when, because I'm not very good at planning things, but soon. Yeah. So, watch this space. Okay. Today, I don't have a lot to show you, but I just wanted to keep moving on what I do have to show you, so it doesn't get to be too much for one episode, because I like to keep them rather short. So, first, we'll start with finished objects. First off is my Julgran sweater by Andi Satterlund. Satterlund. Yeah. The Julgran sweater, Christmas tree sweater. Sorry, I probably never hold those up long enough. I don't know if it'll focus. It's so overcast, but links to everything will be in the show notes on my blog. And link to my blog under this video. It is actually finished, guys. I'm so pleased with it. Well, except for the decoration. It needs blocked, so I'm going to block it first, and then I'm going to sew on the decorations. So I'm really happy with it. It fits really well. I'm happy with the size I made. I spoke in previous episode about how I got DK weight yarn instead of worsted weight, which it calls for. So I had to do a little messing around with it to try and get the right gauge. But so I made a size bigger than I normally would have, and it worked out really well. You were supposed to use a size 8 needle, and I used a size 9, which with this part, it's reverse stockinette stitch, so I don't think it really matters at all. And then actually for the sleeves and the collar, I went ahead and just did the size 8 needles anyway, because they are in regular stockinette. So, I didn't like how loose they looked with the 9, but the reverse of it, I don't think it matters. But yeah, the tree looks good. I had some trouble with the chart for the tree. I've made things with charts before. I've made cabled sweaters. I've done color work with charts, so I don't know why I had so much trouble with it. But what it is part of the time when you start working it, it's top down. So you're going back and forth in rows. And you start with the wrong side row, which is a knit row, because it's reverse stockinette stitch. And I started going the wrong way. I started going, let me think about which is right or left, because I'm like a little child. I don't know my right hand from my left. Started going right to left. I wrote all this in my Ravelry in the notes of mine on there more concisely if you want to. If you've had trouble with it, maybe you had the same trouble, or maybe it's just me having a moment. But anyway, long story short, the right side rows, which are purl rows, are the ones you work right to left on the chart. And then once you join in the round, they're all just right to left, which if you look at it, it makes sense, but I was just having a brain fart, I guess. So, yeah. So got that worked out, really happy with it. I am going to, put on little pom-poms. Actually, let me show those to you. I've got them up here. Well, here's an assortment of colors. I'm going to, oh, I love this neck, by the way. It's called a funnel neck, I think is what. Yeah, funnel neck, which makes me want a funnel cake really bad. But, it's not, I do not like things touching my neck usually. They bug me for some reason. So, like, I can't do turtlenecks, but this, it's like the cuteness of a turtleneck, you know, that kind of sophisticated look without choking you to death, because it doesn't actually touch your neck. So it's like perfect. I love it. And that was actually the only seam was the neck. The collar is sewn down. Other than that, you just pick up stitches. It's really nice. But here's my pom-poms. I'm thinking maybe like a big yellow one on the top, kind of like a star, and then just all the different colors. Oopsie. I'll sew them on. You know, it'll be cute. And I feel like I could still wear this with red. I have a cute red skater skirt that I might wear this with, because it is a cropped length sweater, so it really needs to go with a skirt. It looks really dumb with my jeans. Well, I just don't like it with my jeans. It cuts me off at a bad spot. But, yeah, so I'm really pleased with how that turned out. Love the mint color I ended up going with. And it was Gloss DK from Knit Picks, if you weren't here before. And I got it on their sale, so like either half price or like 60% off, something like crazy good deal. So, it's this. This is all I have left. It was like, oh, I weighed it. I forgot to write it down, though. I think it's like 36 or 37 grams is all I have left. So it's like, yes, you know, got enough left to be comfortable. Not like, because matching dye lots and all that. But so I was thinking, ooh, maybe I'll make like a matching headband ear warmer thing or something. Oh, did you notice I got my hair cut? Got a fun new haircut. I'm loving it. And I'm trying wearing my bang. No, I probably messed them up. My bangs off to the side. My fringe, as some people call it. So, yeah, I'm really loving this haircut. It's super comfy and easy. And I love how the collar of my coat, like, doesn't even touch it. So it doesn't, like, you know, I hate that when it gets all fuzzed up in the back there. So anyway, besides the point, really happy with my Julgran. Guys, go make yourself one real quick before Christmas. It was a really quick make because it's supposed to take A-ran or worsted weight yarn, but I used the DK, but still real quick because it's cropped length, 3/4 length sleeves. It's just wonderful. Really, really happy with that. So that is that. And then another finished object, also Christmas, because I'm obsessed with Christmas. This is actually a gift. It's Christmas rose cushion. Every time I see it, I keep wanting to sing "Lo, how a rose are blooming," you know, that really old Christmas hymn. And, yeah. I have made this kind of cushion quite a lot. It's one I kind of just made up. I mean, it's not difficult. I will put a link to the tutorial I use for the pretty granny square rose. And then I made up this part where you just do like scallops around it. My original one, I was inspired by Kath Kidston Province Rose or Provincial Rose. Something like that. Anyway, it's like one of her floral patterns. It's a rose and then like a scallopy thing around it. So anyway, that's what I was inspired by for that. But this is my Christmas one. This is actually a Christmas gift. I won't tell you who it's for. Surprise. But I wanted to show you this because I had mentioned last episode about the cushion I was making for my grandma for her birthday. And it basically was just like this, except it was a pink rose and aqua here. And yeah. So that's my rose cushion I like to make. I love cushions. They're so quick and just so pretty. I love them. Don't they kind of remind you of like a French macaron too? A macaroon. It's like, I want to eat it. But with like the filling squirting out. Yummy. Apparently everything's reminding me of food today, though not unlike any other day, I guess. I like food. Yeah, what else can I say? I will also, if I can remember where it was, put the link to tutorials I found for round cushions, for if you want to make one of these. Also, so yeah, there's that. I love it. Hopefully the gift recipient will love it too. So, I don't think there's much else that I can say about that. Okay, and then my one other finished object. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen it. It's another Christmas thing, and it's a sewing thing. It is my curtains. I made Christmas curtains. The fabric is Christmas Candy by Blend Fabrics from Hobby Lobby. They were having all their Christmas fabric half off. So, yeah. Anyway, it's 2 yards per curtain. I've got just one big window in this room here. So it's just 2 yards per panel. Just a casing and about a 1/2-inch header at the top, and then just a little 1/2-inch hem at the bottom. And I just love them. I'm so happy with them. They've got little bits of popcorn in them too. And it really goes well with my yellow walls, I feel like. I love it so much. I'm so happy. Actually, Mom got me that fabric. I was like, oh, Mom. We're at Hobby Lobby. I was like, look at this Christmas candy fabric. It would be so perfect for my decor. I was like, what do you think about curtains? Wouldn't that be fabulous? And then it's like, but I probably shouldn't. And she actually bought the fabric for me. She said, yes, you need that. But really, it's her fault because, not to be one of those people that blames everything on their mother, but she does have curtains for every season for the kitchen door. So, it's really her fault. She trained me this way. So, just kidding, Mom. But, yeah, the colors, I just love them so much. And the ribbon candy in them, oh, I just love ribbon candy so much. So pretty. So, yeah. Actually, I have an idea for an Afghan inspired by ribbon candy, but that probably won't even happen this year. You know how things go. So many gifts to do. But, so yeah, that's my curtains. I'm really happy with them. They're really cute and just so cheery, and I love them. So, that is all for finished objects for today, which I feel like it's pretty good. Sorry, something in my eye. I'm pretty happy with the amount of work I got done. And then my works in progress I have here. This is actually my only work in progress right now because I got those two things done. Is Christmas socks for Christmas. This one is for Wesley. This is how much I have done so far. I'm actually making him man-sized socks because he's 12 and his feet are already man-sized. Very sad. But just making them with this cute little Begin to Knit book. This Mima gave me when she taught me to knit, and she gave me this just like, hey, if you can't remember things, just look in this little book and it'll tell you. And I love this book. It looks like it's from the 60s to me. I'd say the illustrations are just so darling. And it's just got all the little diagrams of how to knit. And then a few simple patterns, which come in very handy, such as plain socks for a go-go guy. That cracks me up. But yeah, so I'm making Wes some plain socks for a go-go guy. I've made this pattern a few times. It's just a simple sock pattern. I don't know, like, people are always saying, it's a such and such heel and a such and such toe, and I don't know. This is the only kind of socks I've ever made. I think it's called a flap heel, or heel flap sock or something. So well, I've made one other kind of sock, and for the flap on this one, you just do it in stockinette for 2.5 inches. But on the other one I made, you did like slip one, knit one, slip one, knit one on the right side, and then purl the wrong side for like 29 rows, I think. And it was like a little thicker feeling, which I actually kind of liked. Maybe I should have done that. Oh well, I don't feel like ripping it back. I've already turned the heel. So, yeah, maybe you guys know what that's called, but works good for me. So, yeah, this is the Knit Picks Chroma Fingering in Lakefront. So, yeah, I really like those colors. I love that bright yellowy green. It's almost like a lime, but more yellowy-ish, even. Maybe like a chartreuse. I don't know, but I really like that. And I'm making James one of my 5-year-old nephews the same yarn. He picked out this yarn, and so when he came over once, he's like, "Where's my socks?" Like, I would have them done already. I'm like, "Well, those are for Christmas. They're not done yet." I said, "Well, I'm working on some." And he's like, "I want to see." So I showed him. I had like that much done. Yeah, so it is top down, not toe up, if that helps anybody with anything. That's the only way I've ever done it. I've never done toe up. Maybe at some point I should give it a try, see if I like it any better. But this is working for me so far, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So anyway, I showed him these, and he's like, "Oh, those are for me." And I didn't correct him, because they're gonna be exactly the same, and he was just so excited. And then, yeah, I was working on these. We all went to see Home Alone in the movie theater. One of the theaters have flashback movies where they bring back an older movie, and you can watch it on the big screen, and that was so much fun. We went with my sisters, my 3 sisters, my mom, me, and the 4 older of the wee rabbits. We all went to see it. It was so much fun. It was so funny on the big screen. I love that movie. It's a classic. So the ribbing was actually supposed to be a little longer, but since it was dark in there and I couldn't see what I was doing, I was like, I'm just going to stop and start knitting. Stop the ribbing and just start the stockinette, because there's actually a couple little mistakes in there. I don't think Wes will care, though. So anyway, that's that. Well on my way to doing that. Doing this, I was just thinking about knitting socks, and I've just started watching So Sweet Violet podcast. Jules, she's such a sweet gal. I really like her. I'm really enjoying them. And in her first episode, she was just saying how she really got into knitting socks, and just like it was almost like therapeutic to her, and just like lifted her mood when she was down. And I was just thinking how funny that was. It's like socks are just such a fun and kind of amazing thing to make. Just like, who thought up those cool, like, you just do these little things and it turns into a sock. Like, it looks so complicated, but it's not that complicated. So when I was thinking about when I started making socks, and I remembered it was actually, I had wanted to make socks for the longest time. Ever since I started knitting, it just looked so intricate with all the needles, and just looked kind of intimidating, actually. So that's why I held off for a while. But then actually I have thyroid disease, and a few years ago now, I actually had to have my thyroid radiated because it was like crazy and it needed to be stopped. So it was kind of, the procedure itself was like no big deal at all, like not invasive at all, but I was radioactive afterwards. So I couldn't get within 6 feet of anybody because the radiation would have possibly been harmful to them. So, and like, I am a hugger. I need hugs, like, from my mom and stuff. So I couldn't hug my mom for, like, I forget how long it was that I had to stay away from people, but at least a week, maybe a couple weeks. And it was so weird because, like, I couldn't eat supper in the same room as anybody. Like, my family was all in the kitchen eating, and I had to sit way out in the dining room by myself. Like, I couldn't go anywhere because I couldn't be, I couldn't go around people, but, like, even in the car, I couldn't, that would have been too close of contact with my family, even. So I just kind of had to sit at home and stay away from people, and that is when I learned to knit socks, long story short. So I remember just sitting on the couch and like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. I got some self-striping sock yarn from Joann Fabrics, and it came with the sock pattern right on the label. It was Deborah Norville by Serenity Yarns, I think. Yeah, it was a pink stripy one. It was really cute, really pretty. I actually wore those socks out and I made my first sock, and I was like, I made a sock. This is cool. So, I don't know where I was going with that, but that's how I learned to knit socks. So, I guess maybe rather than getting and giving hugs, I knitted socks. So, socks are kind of like a hug, I guess. Comforting and cozy and wonderful. And I'm mumbling. I apologize. So, that is actually all I have to share with you guys today. I took little bits of video that I want to splice together, make just like more fun intro and ending things, so it's not the same thing every time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I thank you so much for watching, and thank you guys. Just, you make my day with your kind comments and your thumbs up and all that fun, encouraging things. So until next time, keep making. Bye.